this video. Today's video is going to be on fermenters. My pumpkin makgeolli isn't quite ready to be bottled yet and tasted, and as we're moving into the winter months and stuff, things are slowing down. It won't be probably another couple weeks, probably after Thanksgiving, that I actually will have the time to do some brewing. So this is a video I wanted to do. I was just waiting for a period in which that I could do it and serve a purpose as information and kind of fill the gap in between an active brew and the next active brew. So let me preface with, this is not an end-all be-all video. This is just simply to give you ideas what I use, how I use it, and it may give you ideas on what you can use, how you can adapt to whatever situation your brewing needs are. Do not ever take anything that I do in my videos as gospel or as this is the only way to do it, because it's not. It's just what works for me really, really well. So, without further ado, the first fermenter we're going to talk about is a 2.5 gallon fermenter from Steel Spirits. You get this as a companion kit, or if you spend the extra money and you buy the deluxe air steel from Steel Spirits, this comes with it. Or you can buy it separately for about $59. It comes with a lot of really cool stuff. It comes with carbon filters, which normally is what you're supposed to use in the top here. I don't, because I'm an airlock person. And slight modification to fit the airlock. You get a measuring thing, or a little measuring cup. It's about a liter, about 1,000 milliliters, and for measuring things out and stuff. It's a really nice kit. I have emailed Steel Spirits about seeing if they offer just purchasing the fermenter by itself. I will go into the things I like about this fermenter. It's heavy plastic. It's really heavy plastic. It's got a really wide, big top. It's about 12 inches across the top, which makes cleanup really, really nice. Cleaning this bad boy is nice. The lid goes in, seals really well. It's a nice seal. It works real well. It's really handy when doing a fermentation like makgeolli, where you're taking it out twice a day and you're stirring your mixture. The lid comes off, you can stir, take your stuff, stir it, pop your lid in and go. You don't have to fool with a bung, you don't have to fool with all that other stuff that you would on a standard fermenter to mix it. Something else, I have to pick this up to show you, is this has a valve on it, or spigot, or whatever you want to call it. It's got a huge diameter, very, very large. So, it is my hope that things like, if you're doing a makgeolli in it, like your rice, or like this, the pumpkin bits, will flow through into my strainer to strain out the solids and let the liquid pass. So I'm not doing a whole lot of scooping. I don't have to worry about sanitation on my instruments that I'm scooping with. It's going to simplify things. Like I said, it's 2.5 gallons Imperial, not 2.5 gallons American, so you have to take that into account when doing your measurements. You could convert it. It's, see, a imperial gallon is 2/10 of a gallon bigger than an American gallon, so you have to do math. It's probably close to 3 gallons American, so it works really well. The downside to it, it's expensive. As it stands right now, you've got to buy the whole kit with all the doodads for about $59. And for a fermenter this size, that is expensive. Like I said earlier, I've emailed Steel Spirits regarding just purchasing the fermenter. I'm waiting for them to reply. And with any luck, they'll offer it. Maybe, you know, at a fairly reduced price. Like I said, this is a good fermenter. Our next fermenter. This is a wide mouth, big mouth bubbler, 5 gallon fermenter. I don't use this very often. It's a great fermenter. It's about $30 through Northern Brewing Supply. The valve is good. Doesn't work real well with if you have large bits. Say you do something in which you're fermenting on like apple bits or grape bits or whatever, they tend to clog this up. So you have to siphon anyways. But if you do something, if you're doing like a beer, or you're doing something where you've extracted your sugars from, say, grapes or apples or pears or what have you, and you just have liquid in this, this is great. You put your siphon hose over the valve, and you go to town. There's no sticking it in, blowing it, keeping the airflow. Boom. Simple on, off. You're good. What I like about this is it is fairly decent as far as being heavy duty, but being plastic, it is light, which I like, and it's convenient for storage. The biggest downside to it being plastic is you can't put anything hot in it. You have to let your wort or your must or whatever you're doing cool before you place it in here, or you risk melting through. It has to be cooler than glass. Glass would shatter at a higher temperature than plastic melts, and even if you put something in a little bit warm, you take a risk of heating the plastic and getting off taste in your final product. I really like the fact that it has a huge top. This too makes easy for cleaning. Like most of my fermenters that will be shown in this video, well, basically all the styles of fermenters that I use are in this video, but like most of them, I like this big top because I can clean it with standard brushes and sponges and stuff that you have at the sink already. You don't have to buy a bottle brush. You don't have to buy 9,000 specialized things to clean a fermenter with. All my fermenters, something I do is when they're not in use, I finish ferment. I do a brew. I finish it. I bottle it. I clean this out. I sanitize it, and I put Saran wrap on the top. What the Saran wrap does, it's not going to keep it from getting dirty. What it's going to keep is big dirt, dust, bugs, and stuff out. Before I use it again, I'm going to have to clean it and re-sanitize it. It's going to be a lot easier with this being on here. The lid for this is a fairly huge lid. It takes a bung, which has your standard size hole in it for your airlock, and it goes in. Downside to this is that when you get a really good fermentation, and if you got more than about 3 gallons in here, you get up to 4 or 5 gallons, the carbon dioxide will push this lid off. It will pop the lid off. So you're going to have to duct tape it. That's what I do, is I put it in there, get everything sealed real good, then I hit it duct tape, and it works. Like I said, of the whole thing with this type of fermenter, the worst thing is the popping off of the lid when fermentation's at its peak. I mean, it will push this off and put it on the floor. It will pop off, and I have found it on the floor next to the fermenter. So yeah, you're going to have to tape it down, secure it so that doesn't happen. This fermenter is a 4-gallon fermenter. It is plastic too. It is a heavier plastic. It's not as quite as heavy as the Steel Spirits fermenter, but this is a better bottler. It has a standard small neck and requires specialized tools to clean. It's a pain in the butt. Other than that, that is the biggest downside to this fermenter for me. But being plastic, it's light, it stores well. Like I said, it's heavy. It's fairly heavy. You put stuff in it a little bit warmer than the big mouth bubbler, and not get any off taste. You don't have to worry as much about melting through the plastic. And it does. It takes a standard bung. I think this is a 9 or 10, I don't know. But this is your bung. It goes right in here, seals in tightly, airlock, boom, you're good to go. It works really well. Like I said, other than it being a small neck, pain in the butt to clean, I don't have very many issues with it. Like I said, it's 4 gallons. It's a little less than this. So it's give or take a little bit. This next one, this is an 8-liter, which is really weird that this was advertised as an 8-liter tea vessel, being in America. They should. I don't know why they didn't just go ahead and call it a 2-gallon. Call it close. But this is an 8-liter tea pot, basically, or a tea holder or a juice holder or something that you'd have at like a neighborhood party or something like that. All I did was I drilled the lid, took a drill bit, drilled the lid, and got a plastic lid that's designed for an airlock. Put your airlock in. Put your airlock in, and boom, you're good to go. And this screws on, which is nice, so you don't get any push out. You don't get it. The metal will flex a little bit when the fermentation's going in. It'll pop out and be hard to take off. I like this because it has a handle, and this handle will clear. If I got my airlock in properly, the handle will clear the airlock, and it's good. This is my primary mock leaf fermenter. Because it's about the right size, doesn't take up a whole lot of room, it's heavy. The biggest downside to it is this spout here. It is too small for running rice and stuff through it. When you're straining your mock leaf, it's wonderful for a wine. If you're doing a small batch of beer or wine or something, it works wonderfully. For transferring, you just put your siphon hose over the tip of it and go. They are expensive. I happened to catch this on sale at Kroger. Like I said, they are expensive. If you buy them at full price, probably not something, if you don't have a lot of money, a lot of time and effort, to go with. The glass seems to stay cool and holds the coolness like when you have an active fermentation going. Other than being expensive and having to mod the lid, it's pretty good. Okay, was interrupted, had to do a bit of editing. Well, yeah. I was interrupted, I had to stop the video, I come back to it, and had to do a bit of editing. So, we're down to the final fermenter that I use. 3-gallon fermenter, very thin wall. It's relatively inexpensive. For as thin as the walls are on this, it is really inexpensive. If I would have known how thin the walls were when I purchased it, I probably would have passed on it. It makes for good for doing small batches, for doing experimental batches. It works really well. You can't even think about putting anything warm in here without this melting on you. It's really thin. It's what I'm looking for is either a food grade plastic jug like a pickle jar or something, or a glass jug that will fit this lid. The lid here, because I will use this for something completely different if I do. Have to remove this here. I don't know if you can see it, but under the cellophane there's a black seal which seals the lid. It does a really good job when you get the lid screwed down tight. Like I said, my biggest problem with this is the walls are thin and you can't put anything warm-ish, lukewarm. It has to be cooled off pretty well before you put it in here. The lid is nice because it fits this standard bung and any airlock. It's just a good thing. One of the redeeming things to this is the lid, this being a big mouth style fermenter, the cleaning and sanitation of it is much easier than, say, this fermenter here. So it does have redeeming things to it, traits, redeeming traits. That's the word I was looking for. Like I said, it's really not worth the money you pay for it. I will probably not be buying any more like this. If anything, if Still Spirits can give me a decent price on, or even if they're willing to sell just the fermenter, that would probably be my go-to small batch fermenter. It's nice, heavy. You can put stuff in it that's fairly warm, not necessarily hot. And overall, right now, that is my favorite fermenter. So, with all of this being said, find what works for you. Find the fermenter that is your cup of tea. So, till next time, peace, love, better. Sneezy, allergies, yay. Peace, love, better brewing.